Good day, I am Inje Hill de la Rosa, and now I'm going to discuss about autonomy. So Kant's concept of autonomy lies at the heart of his moral philosophy. According to Kant, the rational will possesses the unique property of autonomy, which contrasts with heteronomy. These two concepts derive from the Greek roots. Authos means self, heteros means other, and nomos means law. So autonomy, therefore, means self-legislation, the will giving itself the law. Heteronomy, on the other hand, refers to being governed by a law imposed by another. This fundamental distinction clarifies the nature of moral freedom in Kant's framework. Autonomy involves rational self-governance, whereas heteronomy involves being controlled by outside forces or impulses. So to understand this, consider the example of brushing one's teeth. As children, Ryan and Lisa brush their teeth due to their parents' commands, motivated by rewards or punishments. Their actions are heteronymous because the law or the rule to brush the teeth is imposed externally. So, however, as adults, as they choose to brush their teeth because they understand and endorse the principle behind it, maintaining oral hygiene. Now, the law is self-imposed and internally authored because it's us who made that decision, making their or our actions autonomous. This internalization of the principle and self-imposition of the law reflects the essence of Kantian autonomy. The will is both subject to and the author of the law. In Kant's notion of autonomy challenges the usual understanding of being subject to the law, which typically implies subordination to an external authority. He instead proposes a paradox. The rational will is subject to a law that it gives to itself. This dual role, being both legislator and subject, is only possible for rational beings capable of self-reflection. Autonomy, then, is not merely about the essence of external coercion, but about acting according to laws one has rationally and freely endorsed. However, not all self-imposed actions qualify as autonomous in the Kantian sense. So consider Reggie, who finds a lost suitcase and decides to keep it and sell its contents. He tells himself that he is entitled to benefit from others' carelessness and acts without external coercion. On the surface, this may look like autonomy, but it is not. Reggie's decision is driven by sensible impulses, or the greed, excitement, or shame, which Kant identifies as foreign to the rational will. Even though the law seems internally generated, the source of motivation is not purely reason, but impulse, making the action heteronymous. Kant distinguishes between animal choice or the arbitrium brutum, actions driven purely by impulses, and free choice, which is guided by pure reason. Humans, through affected by impulses, have the capacity to act from reason. This capacity for deliberation allows them to assess situations, consider principles, and act accordingly. Rationality allows humans to mediate between stimulus and response, replacing mindless reactions with meaningful responses. Thus, to act autonomously is to engage this rational faculty and act not because of emotional drives or external pressures, but because of principles reason has endorsed. So in conclusion, autonomy for Kant is not simply doing what one wants or choosing independently of others. It involves acting out of pure reason, rationally self-imposed principles that apply universally. Heteronomy occurs whenever the will is guided by anything other than reason, whether that can be external authority or internal impulses. This distinction, or the distinction between a mindless reaction and a meaningful response, further refines this view. So humans, we are not merely reactive creatures. We are capable of deliberate, principled action, which is the foundation of our moral authority. That would be all. Thank you.